All right, everyone, you are now live.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Private Room with a lot of faces that you guys might remember from previous episodes. Because we are actually having our hottest guests join us tonight as we recap some of our favorite episodes from 2023. Um, I think we have everyone here who's supposed to be joining us. But what I'm gonna do is I will just go and say a name out, and y'all can introduce yourselves for our viewers, and we'll get started. So let's see. I see. Hold on, I gotta put my eyes on. Um, Harley. Hey, girl, how you been?
Hey, how you doing? It's
I'm
been good.
good.
It's been good. I've been good.
So why don't you introduce yourself to some of our viewers who might not have seen you on our previous episodes, because you're relatively new.
Yes. So, I'm Harley. I'm a co-host to the BLX, the Black Lifestyle Experience podcast. We go live on Wednesdays. I'm also a educator within Kink and BDSM. I'm poly. Um, I live multiple different lifestyles, and I do conferences and classes on skills, sets, and play, and just different things within the lifestyle. I also am the founder and one of the co-hosts for the Philly Black Munch in Philadelphia. So that's me.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay.
thank you for sharing. And let me see. Do we have Fred in the house?
We do.
Hey, Fred. Long time no see.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good.
So, if you don't mind introducing yourself to everyone, and let us know a little about you, and what let's tell us also, what was your favorite episode so far?
Um, I think my favorite episode was, about self-care, trying to, um, well, first from Fred. And I've been on, about almost a year now. I've been with with Tiffany's room, and the self care episode, I think, was good for me because it taught people about awareness and how to make sure that you take care of numero uno. Um, you can't give to others what you don't have yourself, and you can't continue to fill other people's cup without understanding how to make sure you're refilled yourself. And so many times, we always trying to do for others, and we're not doing for ourselves. So we have to make sure that we um, take care of ourselves by doing things for ourselves. If it is going to get your hair done, you're gonna get your hair cut, gonna get your nails done, meditating, whatever it is that rejuvenates you, that don't take nobody else but
Mm-hmm.
yourself. I think we learned a lot of techniques about how to actually do that, and I think a lot of people got help that night.
Absolutely. And it's awesome that you brought that up, because that is one of the topics that we're going to kind of discuss again tonight. So, thank you for that.
Yeah,
And it's a pleasure having you back. Thank you.
absolutely.
And I'm going to swing it over to Miss Nikisha, because we haven't seen her beautiful face in quite a while either.
Hey, it was perfect time. First off, y'all know every time I do this show, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me cut. Look, I'm in my boyfriend's car, and he got all these gadgets because he got a fancy schmancy car, and I don't know nothing about it. But I'm always on a date when I'm on this show somehow, some way. Um, so I am Coach Keish. How are you? I've been a life coach both in business and personal for I think 13 years this year. I've been in Charlotte 15 years. That is my side hustle. I am a property and project manager in construction and real estate, mom of 3 kids. I am completely, utterly hetero. Um, I've tangoed a little on both sides. I don't tango anymore. I love monogamous. I'm a serial dater though. I'm glad he's not in the car, so I can say that. And don't say nothing about the other guy that I used to put on. That's not who I'm with.
Yeah, no. Secret safe with us.
Okay. But I'm with my new boo. But in any event,
That's why I love Markeisha. I love her.
Crazy because I will eliminate you quickly. I don't care if you play in the NBA or not. I'll go get another boyfriend.
Yeah, you got to be busy.
Camera, let it be on the camera. He get on my nerve. But anyway, listen. So now, my favorite episode, I think it was like the one where we were just introducing like our status. Here we are in learning about poly, learning why, learning what works, learning the dynamics. I think it introduces the world. Like here we are. There is no right or wrong. There is what works for you. I am not, although I believe in traditional for me, but I support, love, and enjoy learning about everybody else because I know tradition doesn't work for everybody. There's no such thing. I think that we get to be as broad and as free and as fun loving as we ever want to be. If I get to change my mind, I get to change my mind. I might, because I definitely changed my mind in relationships. So after being married most of my life, I'm 12 years a slave. My last name is not Potts anymore. It is now Ducre. I'm back to my maiden name. I'm excited about that. I've been divorced 13 years. So 12 years a slave. I had that last name. I'm glad I don't have it anymore. So it is exciting because I'm almost an empty nester. I said I would keep it until my kids got out of school. So, but that's it. That was my favorite episode. I'm glad to see everybody's beautiful, gorgeous faces in the boxes. It looks exciting. And I'm looking forward to everybody watching and getting all the feedback.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce you, Jamal. Well, actually, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but letting everyone know who you are. Thank you for joining us again. And just tell us a little about yourself and what your favorite episode was.
Okay. Excuse me. I am Jamal. Nice to see everyone. I believe it's some for the first time. By myself, work in media, various aspects of it, producing, writing, directing, you name it, I've worked in it, and I do work in it. I don't have a favorite episode. I was only invited on for one episode prior to this evening, to pretty much to give a perspective of a heterosexual, non-poly guy and my thoughts. And that's what I was here for. Then I was reached out to about coming on the day, and I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Well, no worries. We'll definitely get into some historical episodes that we've had over the last couple of months here. So welcome, and thank you for joining us on that. Miss Liz Pineapple, I see you're back. How are you?
I am great. This is actually only my second time on the private room. I did the episode a couple of weeks ago on single life, and I was voted, I guess, one of the hottest guests. So, so here I am. I'm back. Yay! So, I was honored to be, to ask to come back. So. I am Liz Pineapple, which is my swinger name, or my content creator name is Elizabeth Pineapple. I'm single. I'm a mom. I have an autistic child. I am non-monogamous, and I've been so for over 10 years. I mean, everybody's talking about their sexual orientation, and I'm bisexual. So there you have it.
Very good. Thank you for joining us. And it's nice having you on again. I'm also going to introduce Miss Davina. She has been on our show a couple of times, and I had the pleasure of also doing a special project with her off of the private room. So she's an amazing woman, and y'all, she's very, very good with her business. So I'm gonna let her explain what kind of business she has. And the floor is all yours, Miss Davina.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Davina. Been in Charlotte since 2003. I'm from North New Jersey. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. Got 4 beautiful grandkids. I work a 9 to 5 from home. I also have a business where I make jewelry. It's called Lovely's Dollhouse, named after my youngest granddaughter. I make jewelry for everybody: men, women, children, sports fans, charms, gemstones, you name it, bangles, necklaces, whatever. I also have a business where I do taxes legally, registered with the IRS, not on the side. Virtual assistant, social media management, and coming soon, notary services.
Awesome.
I was on the episode. I was a vendor on the episode when you were talking about the poly and all the types of. And even though I'm heterosexual and in a relationship, I enjoyed that episode because, hey, like she said, traditional is what you make it. Your tradition is different from every. I enjoyed it because as long as somebody like who they are, love who they whatever, do you. People just need to mind their business, live their own life, and that and the self-care episode was hand in hand with me. But yeah, I learned a lot because I see a lot. So as long as nobody not hating on me, I'm not hating on nobody else.
I
So
hear that. Well, thank you for joining us again, Miss Davina. It's always a pleasure seeing you. And for those who aren't aware of, last week we introduced one of our new panelists, Chriso. Chris, do you have anything you want to add as far as maybe like a favorite episode, or tell us more about you to our to the guests that might not know who you are?
Well, my name is Chris. So I'm not from Charlotte. I'm from a little city up under Charlotte called Lancaster, South Carolina. Um, Born and raised on the playground where I spend most of my days. Um, I am an MP, motivational poet, a spoken word artist, and I work part time as a banker. Well, I work full time as a banker, and yeah, out here living that good single life.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna change that in 2024.
Oh my goodness. Don't start. Don't start.
All right, Chris, thank you for that. And Ro, drum roll. Da-da-da-da-da-da. How are
Hello,
you?
beautiful people. I miss everybody. The people who, we've been in this for weeks and weeks and weeks. But yeah. So I'm Ropey Hill. I am an artist, singer-songwriter, producer, model, host, actress. I have my own business doing artist development. I'm also one of the panelists here on the private room. I am single. I am the trisexual, which means I'm pretty much a try anything at least once. What else? Oh, my favorite episode was the men versus women when we actually went down to Charleston. We had such a great time that weekend. Getting to know everybody, even though I hang with them and talk to them all the time, it was just different. Like, we really had a blast. So that was my favorite episode. They made me cry and all kinds of shit. Yeah. So it was fun.
Not in a bad way though. It
wasn't.
Yeah.
And they got to see my vulnerable side. They always talking about how hard I am and how I don't be showing my vulnerability and I'm just hood, thug chick. But they got to see me be loving and caring. So that was different.
Oh. Well, it's nice having everybody on. I am the other Tiffany. And I'm here with my partner, Yuri, who is also a guest from the Charleston Live with what was it, the men versus women episode. So I'm gonna basically just go off and say that my favorite episode had to have been all of them. I have a good time with you guys, so it's really hard for me to pinpoint which episode was the best. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about other people. I learned a lot about the different dynamics of love styles and everything. So I take away a lot when I engage in these episodes. So but yeah, so Ro, I'm gonna hand it off to you. I guess we can interview each guest as far as something you might want to know if you haven't already found out about them.
Okay, wow. So let's see who I want to pick today to mess with. Let's see, Jamal. You've only been on one episode of ours.
Mhm.
So what was your take on the episode that you did do, and what did you take away from it?
I didn't really take anything away from it. I left with the same feeling I had before. Like I said, the episode was about people who were poly, and the question was, how did I feel about it not being that? My feeling was, do your thing. But, I mean, that was really it. Just do your thing. If it works for you and you're healthy and you're happy and that's it. Now, for me personally, I don't have the energy to try to juggle multiple relationships, especially intimate relationships like that. And I know my capacity. Now, it sounds fun, but in reality, you're dealing with people's emotions, and you're dealing with this time, and there's a lot of things that come with that I recognize I don't have the capacity in reference to when I'm doing with multiple women. But as long as you're happy, is healthy, do your thing. That's it. I know it's like I'm probably gonna be like you're not gonna get no sensational takes from me in reference to this. You're not gonna get arguments, you're not gonna get pushback. It's just that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. So, Mr. Fred, I've been missing you. Haven't heard or seen you in seems like forever.
I'm around.
You're around.
Yes.
So
How are you?
I'm here. I'm doing great. I'm here, above ground. So any day that's happening is a great day.
Good.
So with you,
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're like me. You're very opinionated, and
Mm-hmm.
so we've had you on a couple of episodes, and the one that stuck out to me the most, I'm with Davina, as far as the self-care.
Yes.
I like what you had to say about self-care, and it kind of like it stood out to me just because you were saying that most of us don't take the time out to do self-care,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't think that some of the things that we do are considered self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would, please give us some little tidbits on things that you would consider to be self-care.
Yeah. So my background is in the clinical mental health field, and there's some things that before I started to be educated in the mental health field, I didn't have an awareness of myself. And there's a lot of things that we go through in life in our day to day, month to month, year to year. We just get in this rat race, and we sometimes put our spouses, our partners, our children, we all got things we got to do, for them. And we got a schedule that we have to adhere to. And we got bosses that we got to please. And we just got all of these things that are going on in our lives. And we sometimes forget that we have to stop and refill the tank. And most of us say, and I remember, Ro, you on that episode said, no, I don't do self care. Um, and we were like, huh? Well, you don't? He was like, nope. And I think that by the end of the call, that you recognize that, some of the things that you do, because I think I asked you, do you get your hair done? Do you get your nails done? Do you get, anything, you do anything for yourself? And you say, yeah, I do that. And so we had a real good, healthy talk. But anything that you do that makes you smile, that makes you feel good, anything that you do that uh, puts um, the joy back into your life, uh, puts the excitement back into your life. It doesn't have to be anything that you do solo. It could be something that you do with your partner. It could be something that you do with your children, but it's something that makes you feel good and rejuvenates your energy. We're all energy beings. So if we are operating on a low energy or a low frequency, how can we, you know, give that high vibration, that high frequency, which is those good feelings, those good vibrations to other people. We're not giving our best version of ourselves to others if we're not treating ourselves properly and with care and with kind. And if you do not treat yourself accordingly, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And so, we're taught to, do for others. And what we're not taught is do for yourself. And so that episode, we really got an opportunity to, teach people how important it is to do self care and do the the things that make you happy instead of always trying to please everyone else. It's not a problem with pleasing people, but if you don't please yourself, then you're not only doing harm to yourself physically, but emotionally, spiritually, in every way possible, because all will manifest itself in some way, form, or fashion if you don't take care of one or the other.
And that is definitely true. And yes, I did. I was one of the people. That's why I said a lot of us don't know what self-care is, because like me getting my hair done. I know you can't tell it, because I got on my wrap or whatever. But me getting my hair done and me getting my nails done, I didn't see that as necessarily self-care.
Right.
I just saw that as something that needs to be done. Like, I'm a woman, so it's a part of the routine of making sure your hair straight, your nails straight, your outfit together. To me, that's just a necessity in life. That's not something that I consider self-care. But after having the conversation about it, I was like, well, that does take time. Like, me doing my hair, that takes time. And when I'm doing my hair, and I do my own nails too, I've cut them off recently, but when I was doing my own nails and do my own hair, it is kind of like therapeutic to me, because I'm also like, I like to listen to music when I get dressed. And so me putting on my clothes, I'm in there dancing, I'm in there singing, having a great time just getting dressed. And so that is literally considered self-care, because I'm doing what I love. Like, I love to sing.
Right.
I love to dance. So it's like, yeah, I'm doing other things, but I'm also taking care of me while I'm doing those other things.
Yeah, your spirit, absolutely.
And Mr. Crystal. So he's the other single person on the panel that they're trying to get us hooked up this year coming up. They got a whole lot of plan for us to meet people and do all of this, and try to hook us up, right?
Yeah.
You don't sound excited about that, Chris.
I'm good.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
See, they trying their hardest. They trying their hardest.
Oh, me too. I know, me too. But it's okay, because I'm looking forward to it, because I am tired of being single. I've been single for 3 years. And I'm ready for my person now. I'm ready, or my people, shall I say, if that's the case.
Shit, while you playing, I might have a few irons in the fire. You know, I move like a ninja now.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. And look, that's why I love Markeisha. Markeisha literally has me dying laughing like every time she's on here, because she's somewhat like me. Like my friends be like, girl, you got, you date this person, that person. I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to. Like, I'm a single person. I don't have anybody. Everybody knows about each other. So it's like, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking everybody, but I do date a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, you
And
testing the
that's
water.
just,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
since we
and
have,
that's just to
because
see.
I'm sorry, Ro, because before I forget the thought, Liz is also single.
I am
So,
single.
Liz,
Mhm.
how do you feel about being hooked up? Are you
Don't
interested?
answer it, Liz. Don't answer it. You walking into a trap.
Don't fall for it, girl.
I mean, I guess I would be open to being set up or whatever. I mean, my grandparents met that way like a million years ago. I mean, they met on a blind date, so you never know, right?
I don't know. Okay, I want to take a quick poll real quick of you guys' opinions on this question.
Oh my goodness.
So, due to the dating climate that we all seem to be in, unless you're monogamous, do you believe that being set up on a blind date is actually maybe a bit easier than going out on your own and finding a date? Because you're leaving it up to the people that know you that are closest to you, that know you the best. They kind of know what you like and don't like. But would you rather go for a blind date, or would you rather go for a date that you set up on your own?
I'd rather go on a date that I set up on my own.
Okay,
I would do a
Jamal, how
blind
about
date.
you?
I probably trust one person to do this, and I wouldn't trust anyone else. So no.
No, you would want to do it on your own?
No, because I think, you know what it is? I think a lot of times people say, oh, this person would be great for you. And they're looking at their qualities, but those qualities are great for them.
Ah, true.
Yeah, those qualities are great for them. Or that person, oh, they're so cute. They're cute for you, not cute for you.
Oh, they're so cute. Right.
So I'm okay.
Harley, how about you?
I would do it. I trust my sisters. It's about 4 of them. One of my best friends and like 3 of my guy friends. So in that circle, that little circle of people, I would trust them. I'm not trusting anybody else outside that circle. Like, if
I
we
got
done a
you.
holiday together or something, like I trust y'all. If y'all met my ex or somebody that's an ex, I trust y'all. But outside of that circle, no, I'm not trusting people.
And for me,
I mean, it's just one date though, right?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
that's
just one
what I was
date.
gonna say.
you have to marry this person, right? So
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. It could lead to that.
I would do it just for
You
the
would,
fun of
Fred,
it.
you
You
would do
know,
it?
who knows?
Yeah, I would do it for the fun of it too. It's I don't have to continue to date this person.
Right, exactly.
It was a blind date, so it's no expectations.
No
It's
expectations, exactly.
and I would go into it with no expectations. Like, okay, this is, hey, stranger danger, maybe not so dangerous because my people know how to find you.
Meet in a very public place, So there's
absolutely.
there's nothing that both parties are comfortable, and so if like you said, you see things starting to go a little south, you can always exit. It's been great, but I think we've had a nice time. Even if not, you can be cordial, and
I need
exit
to end the
days
night
later.
early.
Yeah,
Gotta get up
exactly.
for work.
Or if it's going great, it may go into overtime. Hey, you never know. So I've had some great meetings for the first time, and I have had some not so great meetings for the first time. So I'm at being single. I'm open. So yeah.
I'm good. I got other stuff to do. I'm good.
Well, I guess that question kind of leads to one of our other episodes that we did, which was, what do you bring to the table? So let me just double check and see who we had on. Markeisha and but she's not up here anymore. Fred, you were there for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we can start with you as far as like, what do you think? And then we'll work our way around with all the guests and see what they say.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And most people, when they think of what do you bring to the table, most people generally gravitate to how much money do you make? How much money can you bring to the relationship? And while money is important, to me, it's not the most important thing because you can make all the money in the world. But if you're a crappy person, who wants to be with a rich, crappy person? You know, if you are out there just for the money, in which some people are, as long as I'm comfortable financially, then I'm good. If that's you, then fine. But, you have to bring stability. As a man, I want to bring stability. I want to be the protector, the provider. You know, I want to be her peace when she's, having a rough day. Her knowing that she can come home,
I can't hear
to me,
nobody.
makes, her day great. Knowing that she, can come and, be rescued, so to speak. If anything was to go awry, she knows I'm going to have her back. I'm going to make sure that, nobody messes with her. You know what I'm saying? Nobody takes advantage of her. You know, we have to be her, her spiritual backbone. You know, a lot of times, we don't give enough uh, credence to, making sure that our household and our children, are prayed for if you're in that realm, if you are believe in prayer and things of that nature. I do. So I believe in that spiritual covering of my family and of my mate. And just providing an overall sense of, you know, togetherness, knowing that I'm not going anywhere, knowing that she can talk to me about anything. She can, be able to feel comfortable being vulnerable around me. That's what I bring to the table. Aside from the money, all those other things that I feel are just as important as the money.
Okay. So, Harley, let me hear from you as far as because I want to even it out, a man's point of view and a woman's point of view. So, what would you say you bring to the table?
Okay, what I bring to the table, peace. Listen, I've been through some things in the past year, and so making sure that our mental health is together, our spiritual health is together, and that we are at peace. That's a big thing. Stability. I was big on when we did the last episode about everyone being independently stable and being able to take care of their priorities and self first before together. I definitely can do that. And I'm my partner's biggest cheerleader. I want to see you succeed. I want to help in any way that I can with you to succeed. I'm here to be a partner. So I want to be that teammate. I want to have your back when you need it. So that's what I bring.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So so let me rewind a little bit. We did talk about taking self-inventory before dating. And just so everyone is aware, we had 3.8 thousand views on that episode alone. So kudos to everyone who was involved in that episode. And then this topic that we just discussed, what do you bring to the table, had 1,800 views. So real quick, Chris, let me hear your what do you bring to the table?
What do I bring to the table?
I mean, I kind of get it. I already know, like, you bring a shit ton of fun and laughter. I know that. Like, any table you come to, you bring that.
Well, I gotta bring the laughter, but I also gotta bring the emotional intelligence too, the communication.
Oh, speak on it.
I got to let my significant other know as I dip my honey in this tea. Um, I gotta let my significant other know that I want to be her peace and vice versa. I have this old saying that if you cannot communicate and reciprocate, I'm gonna have to vacate. So I also too, it's just like what my man said, money is not everything. You hear these celebrities having all this money in the world, but at the same time they're miserable. So if you can't be your partner's best friend at the end of the day, if you can't provide that emotional support, that stability in their lives, make them feel loved, make them feel wanted, make them feel needed in some type of capacity, then no, it's not going to work. So that's what I bring to the table in a nutshell: emotional intelligence and communication. And
Dig it.
that's it.
Awesome. Miss Liz Pineapple, what do you bring to the table?
So I have so I got married for the first time when I was 21. That relationship lasted about 12 years, and I met somebody right away after my divorce was final, and I got remarried within 9 months. And I've been divorced now for over a year, but so my entire adult life, basically, I've been in a relationship, a long-term relationship. So I mean, I've gotten really, really good at wifey skills. I mean, I I cook, I clean, I'm a good communicator. I bring a lot of fun, both sexually and whatever. I love to travel. I love to go on adventures. So yeah, so that's a lot of what I bring to the table. And then of course, being your partner's, number one. You always have to be the person for them no matter what. No matter if your partner's right or wrong, like you need to like stand by their side and support them. Um, so yeah.
Good deal. Thank you. And Jamal, what do you bring to the table?
Cornbread. Knife,
That's right.
fork, plate, napkins. Let me say this. First, I want to know. I'm gonna be very clear. I want to know if I even should invite you to my table first. Okay. Everyone shouldn't is not invited to the table. Everyone doesn't come to your home for Thanksgiving or Sunday dinner, right? That's your sanctuary. So to be invited into this space and invited into a place where I'm going to give you the best of me, that means I have to see something very special in you. But in the midst of that, I hear you brothers talk about money, but at the end of the day, we still got to keep the lights on, right? Because we ain't got no lights on, she ain't saying the table. But she's gonna be able to find a candle to walk out that door. So let's be clear about that too, right? But yeah, there are different things that still come with being men that are just that are expected. We're not forget the 50-50. I ain't talking about that. Just certain things. But bringing it to the table means if I invited you to this table, or we decide to come to a table together, the most important thing is not this generic makeshift thing of how we all put these things together. The key is if I look at her and I say, what do you need to feel loved? It ain't about, I can give you a list of all these different things, but there may be 20 things on that list that she may not need. She may not desire it. It may not be important to her. So I don't want to get into that makeshift aspect of all these different things because every woman needs something different. I need something different. Even if with her, she may need I need to be loved today one way, but in a year from now, she needs something totally different. And we may get hung up on, well, I've always done this. Well, that she's not the same person you met 5, 10, 20 years ago. She's evolved. You've evolved. The things you need are not important, may not be important, or there are things that become more important. So that's the thing I bring to the table. But it's in my willingness, if I care about you, to say, and this is, I'm gonna be very clear, this isn't a sacrificial love or anything like that. This is me and my willingness to say, I care about you enough to say, hey, let me give you what you really need for you to feel loved and to care for.
Well, I feel like it's super important too. Going back to the whole psychology thing and the love languages and stuff, and really zoning in on like what you're saying about like what does your partner need, because what your love language is may be completely different than what your partner is. So I feel like that is super important for both parties to know what that is, recognize it, and act on those things.
Liz, I would tell you, I don't even subscribe to love language when it comes to myself. I've done those tests. Women say, take this test, and I look at it and say, that's not me, right? Or maybe that was me 5 years ago, right? I'm not that person. I think we evolved through it, right? And I can think of times in my life I needed one thing. In the day, I don't need that. It's not as important or prioritized for me. And I'm only speaking for me, guys, right?
Well,
right.
But,
so go ahead, please.
No. I was just saying, yeah, people definitely change over time, and it's just important to pay attention. You're absolutely right. What you needed a year ago and what you need now may be completely different. So
I think the best thing I've ever heard was from a bishop, where he says every year him and they've been married for like 25 years, but he said every year him and his wife go to counseling. He said not because anything is wrong. He said, I just want to make sure the bubble is in the center.
Yeah.
Making sure there's nothing I'm missing, right? Maybe I'm not hearing. Maybe she's not hearing. Let's just keep this thing going. What's going on? So,
well, from a therapeutic point of view, it's called checking in. So, I think it's okay if my partner asks me today, baby, what do you need today? I need, something in my eye. I need to be able to articulate what I need from her. If I can't, then it may frustrate her that I don't know what I need. Then if I don't know what I need, how can she provide that to me? So even though tomorrow or next year it may be different, but I need to still have an awareness of what it is at any given moment of what I need. And checking in is something as simple as, hey, I just want to, ask you, am I providing, everything that you need? Is there anything that I'm not providing, for you or to you? What could I do better? A lot of times I think we are afraid to ask that question because we're afraid to do the work. We're afraid that they're going to say, yeah, by the way, I'm glad you asked. Bam, 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 bam. And so if you're not afraid to do the work, if you're not afraid of that question, then checking in to me is one of the best ways to consistently understand where you are in the relationship, where you are as a person for your mate, and how you guys can improve on whatever areas that you may have a goal to be better at. It's a way to gauge it. How are you doing? If you don't have a goal in mind or a roadmap, how are you going to know that you're on the right track? So checking in is a way that you can gauge if you're on the right path, if you're on the right track, and it gives your partner a sense of he does care. She does care because they actually are asking and they're actually doing the work to make sure that, they, put, that partner first, and their thought process and everything like that. So, so check in with your partner.
Yeah, and it's great, Jamal, that you brought up the love language thing, because our first live this year was actually in Charlotte, and we discussed the different love languages and how those love languages, how we receive and how we give them.
Yeah.
It was a pretty dope episode, I want to say, because it was our first live, like face to face with all of the panelists and everything. So hopefully we can, I'm not sure when we're going to do another live, but we're definitely going to get into the second live that we did in Charleston. And I know Chris was there, Ro was there, myself, my partner, and Tiffany and her partner, her husband, were there. So it was a great time. And that topic was actually, let me go back.
Men versus women.
Yes, men versus women, who runs the world. So I took that topic as the double standard conversation. So I didn't really look at it like who actually does things better, as much as it was, why is it okay for men to have multiple sex partners, whereas when women do it, we have the stigma of being a slut or a whore or any other derogatory statement to that matter. So I just want to get y'all's opinions on it. What does men versus women, who runs the world, what does that speak to you? What do you take out of that topic? And I'm going to start with Miss Davina, because we haven't really heard much from Miss Davina this evening. So I'm going to let her start off, and then I'll go around with you guys.
For me, I think we're better together. I think it's not, to me. I don't think, it can't be one without the other in my eyes, in my opinion.
Fair.
I mean, yin and yang, push and pull,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how can I function? How can I
Right.
function without my king?
Right.
Or even with my sons, like I don't even know what I would be, where I would be right now if I didn't have my sons.
Mm-hmm.
My first child was a boy, and for that matter, I don't know who I would be if I didn't have my daughter. So it's cohesive to me. That's how I feel.
That's a beautiful perspective. Yeah. Okay, Chris, now you were there. You were in person, live and living color. So tell everyone what you got out of it and the good time you had. Because I swear, y'all, we were serenaded by these men, and it was like the most fun, most beautiful thing ever. Thanks to Mr. Chriso over here, the talent, the hidden talent in the group.
Yeah, it's just like what she said: yin and yang, push and pull, hot and cold. Need I say more? You can't operate one without the other. It ain't no versus, no nothing. You have to have one chromosome to make the other chromosome, and once two chromosomes together, you got life. There you go.
Okay, all right.
But nah, I do get what you're saying as far as double standards. To your point, why is it wrongful for a woman to sleep with a bunch of people, and it's low key it sounds kind of slutty, but in a sense it's slutty for men too. It's just like you have men can be hoes and vice versa for women. So I think it's a balance in between. To me it's no double standards. It's like it's you do what you want with your life and however you see fit. And sometimes whatever you do in that life, you have to deal with the consequences. That's just how I look at it. I'm a very honest person.
Very
And
good.
if as long as you're honest within yourself, I came up with a quote the other day. How did that thing go? Deflection is the rejection of honesty. Yeah, that's what it was. So always be honest with yourself.
There it is. Harley, what's your take on it?
Repeat the question.
Men versus women, who runs the world?
Oh, yeah, I think I gotta co-sign and agree. Can't have one without the other. I mean, there's definitely some inequalities with different things, aspects, pay, stuff like that. But even if you're in a relationship, like you gotta have a strong woman to have a man's back, or a strong man to have a woman's back, like, or a partner, however you see fit or identify. Nothing is successful without either one of us. So you can't make babies without men. Yeah, everybody, we are both needed. And so I don't think anybody is really running the world, but we could probably learn to coexist better and work together better. Especially,
Amen.
Yes,
Take
yes.
that.
Woo.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
we could definitely probably work on existing better together.
Mhm.
Communication is a beautiful thing.
She preaching.
Yeah.
She preaching.
So
Communication is key. Woo.
Yeah.
communication is key.
Yeah.
And Jamal, what is your input?
Are we talking about the actual planet Earth?
It could be whatever you want it to
or we're
be.
just talking about the home you live in.
Um,
I say that I often joke that most guys, I said, when a man says, I run my home, and I say, buddy, all you got is a television with a remote control. If you ain't buy them curtains, help them pick them curtains out, put them sheets you roll around on at night, or get them towels you dry your behind with, you don't run nothing. But a smart woman will literally think you running everything. However, but I'm just saying, but I'm joking. But in a lot of ways, I'm telling the truth as well. If we're talking about literally how we look at in reference to male and female dynamics in reference to the world, we operate in the world because of you. We run the world because of you. We do things because of you, right? Sometimes we're doing things because we want to be in position, power, or have some kind of influence, or do our little dance to attract you, right? Now there's a bravado amongst men that's different because of how we challenge each other and those aspects and things that we did. You may have seen your children do it, your boys do it. Those who have sons, you see them fight each other. I'm stronger, I'm faster. Those things that happen. Yeah, you're nodding your head, right? But those are learned traits that happen in between. The world in general, will never be at a place where the woman really runs the world, because you got to be in those positions of power. We're talking about politics and some other aspects. In this country, it's changing because you have the opportunity for voting, you have the opportunity for raising your voice, you have the opportunity for platforms like this, you had the opportunity for possibly changing minds and hearts, right? So let's just stay with this world here in the United States, this planet Earth. Again, for me, I look at it like this: that right now, and everybody is fighting to say who is who, why am I this, in a competition of versus how can we coexist and work together? What is the role that works best for us in our household? Then what happens outside? What works best in this home, right? And that's the thing that's important. So the people who run the world are the people who are able to coexist and understand what works best for them. World.
Good answer. I like that.
I like that. Yeah, me too.
And Miss Liz Pineapple.
Well, I mean, behind every good man is a good woman, right? I mean, I think we can all agree that, some of the most powerful people out there who have the most influence over, anybody, also has a very, strong, great partner who is supporting them. So, I mean, it's definitely a yin and yang type situation, even though men, in theory, they're in positions of power for the most part. But it's women who are also, supporting them and doing things behind the scenes that make those men so great too. So
Right.
um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
It's funny that you say make a man feel great because I don't know about anybody else, but any other females, have you ever, I'll use me and mine as an example. It's a lot of times where we watching TV or something, and I want to watch something. And I know I saw it already, or something like that, and I make him he saw it or something like that. Or I act like I haven't seen it, or I want to want him to tell me all the parts, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna, and I'm like, oh, for real, baby, for real. Oh my God, for real, like yeah. And I already seen everything. But it makes him feel good to think that he's leading that, and I'm like, for real, you want to go to the movies to see such and such? Oh, and I know I already done been with my girls, but yeah, we can go. But it's like I do that all the time. I'm like,
confidence. Yeah, that's much appreciated because I love to do the same thing with women too. I like to make them feel good. I'm like,
yes,
give them that boost of confidence.
yes,
Like you know what, girl, you just fine today. You just
yes.
up and down. So
Mm-hmm.
I
So
love
with
it.
that episode, we ended up getting 1,260 viewers.
Nice.
So the last topic that we're going to talk about is whether or not monogamy is the only way to love. And Jamal, this was the episode that you came on and talked with us about. This episode ended up having 1,512 viewers. So numbers are pretty good if you want to get over the 1,000 viewer mark. So I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming on, the viewers for watching, and anyone else who has anything to do with sharing and liking and participating in the Private Room podcast. So but yeah, let me jump into that episode. I'll start with you, Jamal, because you were our guest on that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what is monogamy the only way to love? So in your opinion, what do you think?
No. But I think it's important for people to develop an understanding of what love means to them, and what love is for different people. I think that at a certain age, you have to move past the I'm in love phase to actually get down to some foundational aspects of love. I believe that if everyone had followed certain principles, then love is going to exist there anyway. And what I mean by that is I've heard this so many times from women who are single. It's like I'm very impatient, but when I get married or find my husband, I'm gonna be patient. You don't become patient when you jump the broom. You have to be that or practice that. So if you establish some simple principles in that, you can exist in it, and it doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in. You have a foundation to build a loving relationship from.
Fair. Harley, I know that you practice polyamory as well, correct? Okay,
Yes.
so what is your take on that topic?
So I practice polyamory, and I believe that being monogamous isn't the only way to love, because even in your everyday life, you don't love just one person. You don't just deal with one person. You have multiple levels of friendships, relationships, associateships. And so who's to say that you can't do that in your intimate or like partnerships? Every relationship doesn't have to be intimate. There's ways to love and have platonic love, and interactions with people. And people serve purposes in your life for reasons, seasons, or lifetimes. And you can have a you can be non-monogamous and have multiple like sexual partners, or you can have people who are just in your life that you spend intimate time with. And so I do believe that you can love more than one person. You don't have to be monogamous. You don't always have to even for people who are poly, not all of their relationships are non-monogamous, or I mean non-monogamous, but like they're not just having sex with all of their partners, so they're not. So I mean, I believe in it and I practice it, and I haven't really had any issues, until recently, maybe. The biggest thing, even like we said before, communication, honesty, transparency. You have to be able to be honest with your intentions and what you're going into these things with these people. You have to be able to voice your opinion and be very loud with your intentions. Express when your feelings are hurt. Be willing to talk. Be open. Because being closed off, being jealous, and all those other things where you kind of retract or regress, it doesn't feed a healthy relationship. And in the long run, what you really should just be striving for is healthy relationships. So that's my take on it.
Thank you for that. That was beautifully said. And Liz Pineapple, you also mentioned that you're also polyamorous as well.
So I do practice ethical non-monogamy.
Okay.
But that only applies to sexual relationships. For me personally, I have tried the poly life once, and it ended very badly for me in my case. So I figured out for myself that monogamy, as far as having one partner that we 100% pour into each other, goes better than trying to pour into multiple people. So I would say that I'm not polyamorous, but I definitely practice non-monogamy in a sexual way.
Okay. I apologize. I thought maybe you had said earlier something about being polyamorous. So, but you're ethically non-monogamous.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. And Chris, what is your take on it?
I don't think I have a take on this one. I love to be monogamistic. I love me a good woman by my side, But also too, you can't sit back there and be not have I can't even say the word. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Monogamous.
Monogamous. I can't even say. Can't even talk. No, you know what I'm trying to say, but I can't.
Monogamous.
So we move past that. What I'm trying to say, let me do it proper. You can't have that, the M word, without loving yourself first. So always love yourself first. Make sure you know what you want, when you want, and how you want. And then after you done checked all your boxes and your little SAT test or your love test, whatever, then put yourself out there. Once you put yourself out there, then you can open up that cloud of monogamy.
Monogamy.
Yes. Monogamy. Yes. But yeah, I love monogamy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Miss
right?
Don't worry, Chris. After this, we'll have a sit down and we'll go over the words. So don't worry. I got you.
Thank you.
And Miss Davina, how do you feel about it?
Well, I definitely know that it's not the only way to love, even though I am. But I respect everybody's choices. A couple of my children making their own, living their life, making their own rules. As long as it's not violent, to a certain extent, But love who you want to love, like who you want to like, chill with who you want to chill with. I hate people that get in other people's business. What they said, or they said this is not the way to do this, or this is it's just so many labels, and everybody's I don't think you should do this. I don't think she should do. I hate that.
I have the
I hate that.
perfect shirt for that. It says, "Respectfully, mind your business."
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I swear, when I wear it out in public,
God.
everybody gets a kick out of it. They're like, "Oh my God, I love your shirt," and in the back of my head, I'm like,
Yes.
"But do you apply it?" Like, because where we're at, I mean, let's face it, we're in the Bible Belt in the South, so we get that what Miss Davina is talking about as far as why do you do that, or everybody has something to say.
Yes, mind your business. What in the? I mean, I with one person because at this point in my life, I ain't got, I'm tired. I can't even. Sometimes I don't even want to deal with him.
Handle your gas bill.
Right, I'm trying to deal with him. It's too,
Bill.
I can't even think about trying to talk to somebody else, or and because you got to think of that. And it's too much. It's too much work. So that's what I choose to do though. I'm not gonna knock the next person. A lot of my friends, and I learned that last episode because I was thinking my crazy self. See how much I'm on my business. I didn't even know it was polyamory and polygamy.
Oh yeah, you were in the midst of that one.
Yes, I was like, did y'all see my face? I was like,
yes,
I don't have a poker face.
Miss Davina, you were really, you could see that you were really taking it in for understanding.
Writing stuff down and everything. I was like, oh my
yes, I love that for you.
Yes, I was like, wow. One of the people that I follow a lot on Facebook are Kevin Wesley and his 2 wives, and I love them. I love them. One of his wives just had a baby, and I love them. Do what they do. Do what you do. Love you. As long as you ain't hurting nobody. One of my sons is gay, bisexual, whatever. As long as nobody ain't hurting you, just know that you got a crazy mother. I don't care if it's a he, she, 2 of them, 3 of them. I heard them.
Definitely that part. Understand it.
So as long as they have a hand problem,
I don't care how you
long I don't care. I'll come for her, him, their mama, whoever. But love you, do you, you.
Absolutely.
And
I
if you
feel
ain't, just do you. I hate that label stuff. Oh God.
Yeah, and me being polyamorous, I feel like monogamy isn't the only way to love, because you have so many different dynamics of relationships, from platonic relationship to romantic to life part. It could be whatever you want it to be, but it's the freedom of loving who you want to love, with, like Harley was saying, with the clear intentions of doing so with per person. I love on everybody. I love on Chris like he's my little brother. I love on Miss Davina like she's my older sister.
Yeah, wait till we get together. I'm gonna have my head on your shoulder.
Oh, see, but you see what I mean, though, right? Like,
it's beautiful.
It doesn't have to be so restrained and like constricted. Like, you can love whoever you want to love in whatever capacity you want to love them in.
It's that agape love, or that good deep love. I forgot the Greeks have different versions of love. I can't get into them. I know one of them is agape.
Yeah. And I'm a big adopter. Like, I adopt people as family members, and I have a pretty big family, but I have this thing where I feel like I have to adopt people as family members. Maybe that's just me trying to like build my tribe.
It's not just you.
Oh, you too, Holly?
So I'm an only child.
You want a sister?
Listen, I'm accepting sisters.
Okay.
I'm an only child.
I'm an only child too. Shout out to the only baby.
My
I need a brother. I need another brother.
My mom had brothers, but my mom, I didn't really grow up. Well, I grew up around my family, but that's another thing. But as I got older, I made friends since I've been grown, and I'm 37 now, so I've like friends since I was like 30. I maybe have 2 good friends that's been in my life since like middle school. But since I've gotten older, I have a sister circle. It's kind of started with us doing wine nights. Whoever fell off, fell off, and it's 5 of us that we all kind of like we a family. We all randomly. My mom passed a couple years ago. My mom maybe had passed like a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
I think so. Am I the only one in here?
These tattoos.
Oh.
Okay.
And we've
there we
probably
go.
known each other for about 7 years going on now. And they are my tribe. Like,
Yeah.
those are the people I'm trusting for this blind date, too. They know me. They know my struggles.
Okay.
They know my positives, the negatives, what I went through. They know the changes I
Yes.
made in life, what I'm accepting, what they going to accept as a family member, whoever I bring to the table and might put a ring on it. So, listen, like, we got some real... We done been through some things in these years.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I have like a tribe. Like people who kind of I'm maybe within kink or within my conferences, people I've been seeing 3-4 times a year that we spend holidays together. I did a Friendsgiving last year. You know, people who also don't have their parents or they got kids around my daughter's age, different little things we bonded, and they are like my family now. When I make decisions, like holiday things, like it's a select group of people that these invites go out to. Furthermore, like, you know, as Black people, sometimes we don't think about end of life stuff, right? You always see the GoFundMe's, and you see that for anybody, right? But at my age, and I think I'm the youngest, I was the one who just recently lost a parent and had to go through the end of life stuff, and just it kind of clicked. Like, we don't have these things in places. So I was the one that brought it to my tribe, and we started that end of life stuff. You know, God forbid something happened to me. My daughter wouldn't go to blood related family. She wouldn't go to her dad's family, or nothing. She would go to my sister, who is not blood relation to me, who is here, who I know would invest in her life, make sure she made good choices, follow her throughout college, help her do that process, because my family is not going to do it.
Right.
They didn't do it for me. They're not going to do it. They're not invested in my child's life now. So, you know, these are people that I trust with my life. They're going to get the phone call at 3 a.m. They're going to pick up the phone. If I need bail money, somebody is getting it together.
Uh-oh.
You know, I adopted. Listen, we adopted each other. We are chosen family. You know, we are like-minded. A lot of things we do are alike, and we are chosen family. And can't nobody tell us anything different. So, I believe in that, though. That you build your community like that.
Yeah.
I think that should be a topic next year, Tiffany. Black folk with the end of life stuff, with life insurance and wills, and have me on, because
I got a girl
I
who
learned.
who does presentations at conferences like that, because we know a lot of people who aren't in traditional relationships, and in reality, if you aren't in a traditional relationship, the next to kin trumps all.
Yep.
And so when you exist in a non-traditional relationship and you have medical decisions that need to be made, and you're not married, or you're married to one person, you need legal paperwork for stuff like that. If you're not married to anybody and there's multiple partners, you have to delegate those things. And I don't think we think about that.
You saw how they did James Brown, longtime girlfriend or wife, whoever she was.
You see these
that was
famous
horrible.
people, they pass away, and it's crazy.
No
you
will.
know, Kobe had a wife, and she still had to petition for stuff. The guy that Ellen's DJ, when he passed away, the wife had, you know, you see these things, and they don't have these legal documents in place, but they got these lawyers, but they don't have these things in place. You know, what they don't tell you is, if you want somebody account as a beneficiary, you paying taxes on the money they had in the bank. It ain't even your money. You just a beneficiary, so the account don't close.
You know what?
Taxes on that money.
Hold that thought, because we are definitely going to have you on next year to talk about that. Like Ms. Davina was saying, I think that is a very imperative topic to discuss amongst our peers at this age, and younger or older. It doesn't matter, because I mean, realistically, death is going to happen around us at any given time.
The only thing you can't prevent.
But we should be prepared for it. Exactly. So I'm going to start wrapping up, because we are kind of getting close to the time frame. So before I wrap up, I'm gonna give a shout out to our favorite fans. And I'm just gonna say their names. The first one we have is Dustin Watson, Miss Davina Stevens, which we have on our show tonight. Thank you, Miss Davina. Victoria Rand, Melody Navarez, Theo Jenkins, Cosmic Star Trends,
Yes.
Tyrell H, and Danella Ponder. So, thank you guys for being our favorite fans of the podcast, and we really, really appreciate you. As far as next year, we will be on break until January 8th. In January, we have some pretty awesome stuff coming up. I had the pleasure of getting a really big name person on our podcast to talk about human trafficking, which I'm super excited about because he is going to give us a perspective from the law enforcement side of things. So, and if y'all are on TikTok, you will definitely recognize this man because not only is he fine, but he's got a huge following. So, but anyway, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank y'all, our podcast panelists and guests on tonight. Thank you for coming on and sharing your perspectives and opinions and going over the favorite episodes that we've had. We will probably definitely be having you guys on in the near future. Y'all have been amazing, and we just cannot wait until next year to do this stuff all over again. From me to y'all, I hope y'all have a great holiday. Enjoy your family,
everybody,
the food, the festivities, and I wish y'all a great happy new year as well. And it's been a great pleasure talking with you guys tonight. So have a good one, and we are out.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Next year.